Welcome back to the Thrive Athletics channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to effectively do a bar facing burpee. We're going to be doing something a little bit differently in this video today. We're actually going to be taking a look at how the GOAT of CrossFit, Rich Froning, does his bar facing burpees. And we're going to be looking at different points of his career and how his bar facing burpee has changed. A lot of the video footage we're going to be analyzing today comes from the CrossFit Mayhem YouTube channel. Now, if you're a fan of CrossFit, you should already be subscribing to their channel. And if not, give them a subscribe. They're really good at posting a lot of fitness-related content, CrossFit-related content, kind of day in the life of what it actually means to be a CrossFit Games athlete. It provides really valuable insight to how to do CrossFit movements. Today's video is going to cover 3 different bar facing burpee techniques. We're going to outline how to do them effectively. We're going to outline the advantages and disadvantages, and then you can decide based on your fitness level and your skill level which one is right for you. First technique we're going to talk about is called the paced burpee. You'll notice that Rich starts the workout by doing a classic bar facing burpee. He does a 2-foot out, jump out, and a 2-foot jump back in. Once he's back in, he does a classic jump over, does a step, and goes right into the second bar facing burpee. This technique is very methodical. It's 2 foot out, 2 foot back in, nothing too crazy about it, but he makes sure that he follows a repeatable pattern. It's 2 foot out, 2 foot in, jumps over, step, and he's right back into the next one. Another thing I want you to notice on this burpee technique is how quickly he's down and up out of the push-up. He wants to spend as little time as possible on the ground. So he uses the stretch component at his chest to spring himself out of the bottom and uses the time to step up and over where he's catching his breath at the top. An advantage to doing a bar facing burpee like this, it allows the athlete to kind of just do a repeatable pattern over and over again. They can kind of turn their brain off for a high volume amount of burpees. I think there's 84 in this workout, but you follow a repeatable pattern of 2 foot out, 2 foot in, jump, step, and back into the next one. You really only have to count how many jumps. Turn off your brain. It's really great for a longer workout. Another advantage to using this bar facing burpee technique is that it actually keeps your heart rate relatively low. You know, you're moving at a slow, methodical pace, trying to keep that sequence of movement. So if you're someone that has their heart rate kind of go pretty high during bar facing burpees, this might be the technique for you. Also, if you kind of went too hot out of the gate on a bar facing burpee workout and you kind of need to recover, this technique might be effective to kind of just calm your heart rate back down so you can perform and do better on the workout. However, the biggest disadvantage to doing this bar facing burpee technique is that it's really slow. Honestly, you're taking a lot of time moving between coming up and down, and you're just trying to keep your heart rate down. So if you can control this pace and hold this pace, it's a pretty good technique, but it can be pretty slow. And if you actually watch the full video of him doing 16.5, you'll notice that in the middle of the workout, he actually switches to the second bar facing burpee technique. This next technique has actually kind of been a little bit more popular in recent years, and I call it the step in bar facing burpee technique. In this technique, instead of coming back in from the burpee with 2 feet, you actually take a step in and bring your feet together. Notice that when Rich steps in, he actually steps in at an angle, kind of doing a half turn. So he does this so he can save time and finish the turn in mid-air. So then when he lands on the other side of the bar, he's facing the bar and can go right down into the second burpee. The biggest advantage to doing a bar facing burpee like this is that it actually keeps your heart rate relatively low. That simple step in instead of the 2 foot in keeps your heart rate relatively down, and you can breathe. Plus you're turning mid-air and you're saving the energy of having to turn around the other side. So it's actually also a little bit quicker than the paced burpee. A disadvantage to doing the step in burpee that could happen is stepping in on the same leg every single time. When you do this, you actually kind of do a circle and you kind of make yourself dizzy if you're looking down at the barbell all the time when you're doing a bar facing burpee. He actually goes through this in his 22.2 tips and tricks video that I'll play right now.
A couple different things we talked about on the burpee. Jake, you want to demo kind of the step up? Something we talked about, you may have done it last week on the box jump over, was facing one way and kind of pivoting on it versus doing the spin around. If you're doing 100 reps where you're spinning on the burpees, you might get a little dizzy. I had to do that on the box. I do not do that on the burpees.
You want to change or alternate which foot you're stepping in with every single time. This will force you to face the same direction every time you jump over the bar and help you with your dizziness. It takes a while to get used to, but once you get used to it, your step-in burpees will get much faster and you won't be as dizzy. We're going to see how Rich jumps over the bar facing the same direction every single time he rotates in the next bar facing burpee technique, which is the speed or half step bar facing burpee. Full disclosure, I did make up all the names for these types of burpee techniques. So if you have a better version or a better name of a bar facing burpee technique, shoot it in the comments. Let me know what you think. The speed bar facing burpee is kind of a combo between the paced and the step in burpee, where you 2 foot out and then you do a kind of a half step or a half shuttle where landing on an angle to the bar and you finish the turn as you jump in midair. This burpee technique is the fastest possible. That is the biggest advantage to doing a bar facing burpee like this. You spend as little time on the ground, you quickly bring your feet in, turn midair, and you're right back into the next burpee. However, the biggest downside, it takes a lot of energy. You are moving really, really quickly. You're putting your body into a position with the half step and you're facing the same direction every single time to move very quickly. This burpee technique is really good for a short sprint workout where you have to do like 10 as quickly as possible. Your heart rate will skyrocket when doing these burpees. So for a longer burpee workout, maybe it's not the best technique. This technique also takes a lot of practice. You have to think about how to step, how to shuffle, where you're turning, how you're turning in midair, keeping your head down, keeping nice and low to the ground. All of these factors, you can't really think too much. It has to be effortless and smooth, especially when you're using this technique to sprint. So definitely practice this one before trying it in a workout or a competition, because it's a lot more difficult than you think. And that's it. Those are all 3 bar facing burpee techniques: the paced burpee, the step in burpee, and the speed / half step burpee. Now, which technique is best? I think they're actually all good in all scenarios, and every CrossFit athlete should know each technique and how to do it, because the paced burpee is kind of good for a longer duration workout. Let's say, for example, you kind of went too hot out on the workout and you have to use the burpees as recovery. This is a great way to recover. The sprint burpee, obviously the fastest. If you need a burpee technique to get you through that set of 10 really quickly and it's a sprint workout, this is your technique. In my opinion, the best version is the step in burpee. It offers the most bang for your buck. It keeps your heart rate down, slow and controlled, and it provides a easy, repeatable pattern that you can just kind of turn your head off. Plus, it's a lot quicker than the paced burpee, where you're kind of doing a half step and basing on doing a half turn and finishing the turn in midair. Plus, it's really applicable to translate over to the burpee box jump over. A lot of CrossFit athletes and elite CrossFit athletes will do the step in version of that burpee. So definitely 100% my favorite, and I think the best version of the bar facing burpee. And that's how you do a bar facing burpee like the GOAT. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Rich Froning is the GOAT. Froning over Fraser. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe. Also, share it to someone that you know that struggles with bar facing burpees. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.